Welcome.
Oh yeah.
To the number one Bengals Podcast.
Bengals Podcast from the number one AFC North team. And I remind our viewers, and I remind John, and I remind Courtney in the booth, that a little guy named Joe Burrow made a prediction. He said, prophetically, that if we can win the division, we can win the whole shebang.
Right. And I mean, the Super Bowl is kind of far away, but
we basically won it because Joe Burrow said, if we win this, we win that.
Yeah. John, what does it feel like for you having seen this? Because it feels like a fantasy. It feels like we're walking on air for me and Hoji.
Walking on sunshine, I believe was the term that I used.
Right.
Well, yeah. Happy New Year to you guys too. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking me. I can see New Year, new faces. You guys are getting cosmetic surgery, but you still have the bandages over your face.
That's
so
like
I can't wait to see how the Botox is filling in, and hopefully your mustache is not too damaged. But it really did feel like the Bengals kind of arrived, and there was maybe a couple moments in the season when it may have felt like that. And then they kind of went through their lumps and their ups and downs and whatnot. And they were still kind of identifying themselves. Going into this game, the Chiefs' defense was top 4 in the last 8 weeks during their 8-game winning streak. Patrick Mahomes is playing as good as he's ever played before. The Chiefs were an annihilating powerhouse, and the Bengals beat them at their own game. And it was a game where you thought the Bengals of the past, even this version of the Bengals that have had good wins this season, even this team was not capable. Maybe some people didn't feel like they were capable of coming back and turning it around and winning the game and closing the game, so much as they never gave Patrick Mahomes a chance to counter and beat them after scoring that field goal. They took 6 minutes off the clock. They made Andy Reid use all 3 of his timeouts, including the 2-minute warning, and they made the plays that they absolutely needed to do so, and they did it in a way where it does feel like their identity now. It's Joe Burrow or nothing. Joe Mixon still exists. They still have that component to the offense, but they're going as far as that guy's right arm and Jamar Chase's feet and hands are going to take them, and it's not just Chase too, it's Higgins and Boyd, but it's those two. It's Chase and Burrow completely altering the identity of this franchise and just the general feel and vibe of the team in general. You don't go into a game against the Chiefs or a team of that caliber anymore expecting the other shoe to drop. Now you're expecting at least at the bare minimum competitiveness from the opening whistle to the final blow, whatever the scenario, whatever the situation, the game time, whether it be regular season, playoffs, or Super Bowl, you're expecting this team, the Cincinnati Bengals of all teams, to be competitive and actually do the damn thing.
Yeah, John, we are expecting that. And John, you know what else I expect? I expect us to get the first round bye. Now, you look at, I'm getting greedy. I'm getting a little greedy. No, look, if the Chiefs, if they lose to Houston, am I right, John?
I think Broncos.
Usually
Broncos. And there's another team that has to lose to Houston.
Tennessee.
If Tennessee loses to Houston, that's the tough one. And, Chiefs, I don't know. I guess, they probably beat Broncos. But if those two happen, we could get the number 2 seed. And if we beat the Browns. And then
very unlikely.
We could get the number 1 seed if the Patriots and the Bills tie record-wise, because we have a better conference record than the Bills. So if all that happens, we get the number 1 seed. So, I don't know. That could happen.
And you're assuming in that we beat the Browns.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll talk about why we're going to beat the Browns. But, John, first of all, if anybody out there is watching this show here on YouTube, I want them to open another window and open it on Bringstat TV.
Bringstat.tv.
Now, what is Bringstat TV? So,
it's a viewing experience. It's a viewing pleasure. It's like Netflix for Chads.
Right.
You know what the Chad is?
No. A hanging Chad.
No, Chad.
But it is. But basically, if you go to Bringstat TV, you can remotely control the show. You can, I don't know if you've ever done this, John, because it is a Zoom call. And in Zoom calls, you can remotely control. Bringstat TV, you enter the Zoom call. You can control, you can move John around. You can make him say things. You can. Yeah.
He's your puppet.
He becomes your puppet.
Just like we are his puppet.
It was actually a viewer that turned you guys off.
Right. Courtney. Thank you for that. Courtney is always so supportive of us, and we similarly are supportive of her endeavors. Now, Courtney obviously has a new podcast on Bringstat TV.
Yeah.
And it is called Before the Masks. Now, obviously, we are on the Believe Podcast Network, and there's the Beyond the Masks, hosted by Takeo Spikes. It is about the football players and all that. Before the Masks is about the golden age in American history.
Yeah.
It ended about 2 years ago when people had the freedom to walk around that mask. It is hosted by none other than Larry Elder. That is right.
No,
so Courtney is very proud of that project.
Anti-vaccine.
Right. So that is one thing she has going. But she also has... And this is real, guys. This is real.
Yeah.
It is the Shield Your NFL Babies show. Whoa, Courtney. Hosted by an NFL mom. And they have NFL moms on as guests.
Huh.
And just this week, they had... hold on. They had Angela Burns.
Whoa.
Just today. They had Angela Burns on the show, the mother of Brian Burns. And she had a very interesting proposal about playing football underwater.
What?
To protect, it is better on the limbs. And
wow.
it is a lot.
I like that.
So it's a great show. It's about how to keep NFL players safe. That is fantastic.
Excellent.
Great work. And of course, there's always the Ray Lewis show. And I think they're off right now, but his upcoming guest is going to be... Barney the dinosaur, because the show's about huggability, asexuality, and a championship mentality. And he's the champion of hugs, as we all know.
That does not sound right. No,
so
Barney's been retired.
Lot of fantastic programming coming from Courtney and the people at Brinks.
Do you understand the reputation that you're setting, that you have to say, and this is real, right? And this is what's true, right? Do you understand that that's like
Ray Lewis is real.
Ideal? Yeah.
And by the way, what is also real is Bengals picks. And Courtney, if you could show them the graphic, Bengals picks. Okay, it is where you go. You go to bengalspicks.app.link/e/DHS.
Yeah,
that link right there, and you go there, and you guess what the Bengals are going to do. You guess, I don't know what kind of stuff did they do. Who's going to, get this touchdown, get that touchdown, who's going to do this, do that.
Yeah.
And, you go there and it is free and you win prizes. You win Bengals tickets.
You know what?
You win signed merch. Yeah.
I'd really like to know who's going to get the next interception in the next Bengals game.
Right.
I miss a good interception. Feels like we haven't had a lot of great interceptions this year.
Yeah.
Who's going to get...
Dropped a couple on Sunday.
Eli Apple was really...
Put that in the comments, my friends.
Put that in the comments.
Who's going to get pick'ems? Who is going to get the next great interception? Because it's not going to be Baker playing. I know you don't want to talk about the game yet, but it's not going to be Baker playing.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get at least one juicy interception.
Yeah.
And by the way, I wrote to the NFL. When you played the John Madden football, you play that. We've been having a lot of plastic surgery, and so in our off time, because we can't do a lot of stuff. We've been playing Madden. When you get an interception, the camera switches sides.
Right.
Why can't the NFL do that when I watch TV?
Right.
I want to get...
Bringstat TV does that. When we switch speakers, it switches from their perspective. So Bringstat TV, obviously, when we go there. But the Bengals picks is great. But just make sure you go to that link. Otherwise, what happens is the computer gets a mind of its own, and it starts running your life. It starts buying stuff from Amazon for itself. It's just really bad. You don't want to just go to Google. Don't ever Google Bengal picks. Just don't do it. But just go to that link. And also, by the way, you're like, hey, these guys, what happened? They don't sound so good. Well, we're traveling. But because of Rick Hawley's generous donation, I can't say, but I'll say it was,
Rick.
I can't say how many thousands of dollars, but he updated our equipment. So Hoj is going to sound like John very soon.
Yeah.
And that will be, hopefully within a week, we're going to get that. Okay. Let's talk some football.
Yeah. Back for the playoffs.
Recap of Kansas City and Cincinnati. And okay, let's just explain what happened. This was kind of similar, John, to that first Ravens game.
Right.
Where the Bengals kind of fell behind, and then they just exploded.
Yeah.
They just exploded.
Yeah.
And it says there, Courtney wrote, a tiger defying the laws of gravity.
Right. So it sounds like a Queen song.
It is a Queen song, yeah. But basically, what happened is we are taking the highest flying offense and we're taking the stingiest defense. And John, in that second half, Kansas City's offense didn't do that much, right? Or is it like the fourth quarter or something? They just kind of stalled, and we just caught fire.
Offense, and it was stalled on their own, though. You gotta give the Bengals defense.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay,
I'm trying to give them credit. Yeah. And John, you tell me. I think Eli Apple had a great game. I know he dropped an interception. That holding call was terrible. He made a great play. That was not a hold. That's a little tug. It wasn't it was fine. He had another big pass breakup, right? I think he had a tremendous game. What do you think, John?
Eli Apple was like the personification of the Bengals defense in this one, because Eli Apple gave up the touchdown in the first half, and he had the dropped interception to end the first quarter, and that was the thing, right? If you don't take advantage of those opportunities against Patrick Mahomes, he will make 3 other plays that will capitalize on those missed opportunities, and then sooner or later, 28 points right before halftime. Oh no, this defense looks as overmatched as they have for the past 2 years, only it's a lot more of an expensive product on the field. The Bengals went out in the past 2 off seasons and completely retooled their defense and spent more money than Mike Brown was worth on it. And what did they have to show for it? They were basically in the same game that a lot of people expected this game to be had they not improved the defense. Just whoever scores last wins. It's just a shootout. So the Bengals defense, they crapped the bed in the first half, and they looked completely overmatched against an offense that, like, this is the offense that you have to go up against. This is the offense that you have to limit in order to give your offense a chance. And in the second half, something clicked, something flipped. And then Eli Apple and everyone else on that defense started playing well. There were a couple of guys, Larry Ogunjobi and Trey Hendrickson, had all-around great games. Chidobe Awuzie did a great job to limit Tyreek Hill, only 40 yards and 6 receptions. Trey Flowers manned up with Travis Kelce, only allowed the touchdown and a couple other completions. But Kelce and Hill did not have the impact on this game that they usually have when the Chiefs are successful and win. The Chiefs still scored 31 points. They still had a decent offensive outing, but the fact that they were to turn it around so effectively in just one half, I don't know if that can't just be halftime adjustments. That's just them playing up to their level, which they didn't do in the first half.
Precisely. You know, this whole thing with. Excuse me, got some sneezes here. This whole thing with
you okay there?
Mahomes. Yeah. So this is one of the side effects of the Botox that we use, because what we use, we go basically to another, I won't mention the country. We go to another country, get cheaper Botox. Daddy-O is allergic to the Botox that we get. So this is the price he paid. But it's okay. He's gonna get through it. But here's the thing. Mahomes, there's a time when you're watching Mahomes play and he looks unstoppable. What he does is they're almost about to tackle the guy, and then he'll run around and on the run throw an amazing pass. And what I realized is that the Joe Burrow equivalent to that is this surprise pass that he'll get. And it was one of the main ones that I remember. It was the one, I think it was Boyd. It was Boyd that got that touchdown, where it's like, how did that even happen? That's what Joe Burrow does. I think he throws it. It's not so much he's as mobile as Mahomes. He doesn't have the mobility yet, but he definitely has that surprise element. John, what do you think, John?
No, it's true. Like Mahomes and Burrow, and I said this over the offseason. I got a little bit of flack from certain people, but they play the game in similar ways. There are similar qualities and attributes to Joe Burrow's game that Patrick Mahomes also exhibits, and I thought that would be kind of an advantage for the Chiefs defense, because they're used to practicing against that quarterback, just like they're used to practicing against the receiver of Jamar Chase's caliber every single week. And it still didn't really matter. Like, they're down 14-0. Jamar Chase takes a little speed out, is surrounded by 5 or 6 defenders, and all of a sudden he's in the end zone doing his best Tyreek Hill impersonation, only doing it better, and doing it in a game where Tyreek Hill couldn't do anything at all, remotely even close to that. But Burrow really took the game over, and there was never a point where they felt like they were down after that Jamar Chase touchdown, because you knew that they were always going to be able to come back, and they had the firepower to do so. And it was just, and Burrow was under duress this entire game. The Chiefs defensive line came to play, and the Bengals offensive line did not. And he was pressured, I think, about 18 times, and however many dropbacks that he had, he was sacked 4 times. He was making a lot of plays, and it was just the continuation of that development of his game that we saw at LSU, but we haven't seen really in the first 25 times that he was out there in a Bengals uniform. But, you know, it doesn't look as elegant as Mahomes. It doesn't look as sharp or as quick, because Mahomes is just that much of a better athlete, but you're seeing the shades of it.
You are. And the thing is, like, I feel okay about the Bengals. Again, I know this sounds odd, but I feel okay with the Bengals covering a team like the Chiefs. What scares me are the teams that have those powerful running backs that you can't stop. That's what got us with the Browns last time. And I know we're going to get to the Browns. But what is it? This guy, the attendant titan, Derrick Henry. My gosh, how the Bengals, listen, you gotta be honest with who you are. And the Bengals' weakness is always that guy that you cannot stop on the run, the big man, because they're bad at tackling.
Yeah, we have problems with the tight ends, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll get to that. But John, speaking of sneezing and being sick and all that, Bengals have 5 players on the COVID list, and do you think they'll make it back in time?
Back in time for the playoffs? Yes.
No. Browns.
I mean, who cares, really? Like, does it matter if they played this game? Like, honestly, like I'm asking
we're trying to get the number 2 seed. Are you giving up?
It'll be hard to wrench.
Let us preview that game. Hold
on, wait. I never say anything about giving up. I don't think they should just lay flat and lose by 40. But is it possible to lose to the Browns by 40 at this point, considering who the Browns are?
That's my question.
That's what it was supposed to be last time. So, I mean, the Browns were not that great last time we played them and they blew us out. But listen, that guy who was Burrows' teammate before, remember, he started with an interception. He set the tone. He set the tone with that first interception. He was a reading Burrow.
Yeah,
and he set the
Burrow's never going to have a game like that.
Our defense, but the main thing was the defense could not stop the run, and the run is still the run on the Browns.
John, here's the thing. Baker Mayfield is out, okay? And he basically said, look, the coaches stink. They didn't they put the rookie tackle out there against TJ Watt. They're idiots. Paraphrasing. And something with the coaching, they still wanted Baker to throw the ball, even though, let me check, what is the name? So he had like a torn, what is it called?
Labrum.
Labrum, which means his arm doesn't move. It is just hanging there.
It's his non-throwing arm, by the way. It's not the one he's using to throw the ball and interceptions and such.
So then why is he not playing? I mean, I don't get it.
Well, I think it's just the pain. But the question is, why was he so bad?
He's bad because I think a lot of these things connect. Just because it's not your throwing arm doesn't mean it doesn't in some way, shape, or form connect to your mechanics and whatnot. And it's not just been the labrum. I think there's been some type of an ankle or a foot injury that's also kind of plagued him. It's been a rough year for him, and I think he's better than what he's been putting out here. But all these things kind of pile up, and it just snowballs into, I think, just completing one pass in the first 10 attempts. Like, no, it's bad. It is bad.
Here's the question. What is Stefanski doing? Because they say he's a good coach. Why, when Faker, what's his name? When he is so bad, why are they keep passing instead of letting the very effective running game work?
That is the question, right? Because Nick Chubb is never not. He's like the only Brown in my lifetime, the only Browns player in my lifetime to just look competent whenever he has the ball or whenever the play calls for him. He's really good. It's not just against the Bengals, and I don't know why they didn't give him the ball more against the Steelers. And I'm usually the guy. I'm usually the guy who says like they need to drop back and pass to win the game. But when Baker's playing like that, that's not the case. John,
is it possible he's trying to make it clear to management that I need another quarterback and Aaron Rodgers is somebody to bring in? So that I can
They're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me? They're not going to get Russell Wilson either.
My point is, they could get Russell Wilson. My point is he trying to send a message to the front office that I can't win with this quarterback? Get me some help.
No.
I don't want to speculate, man, but kind of, maybe.
Yeah. See? That's how you know it's not a conspiracy theory. When John says kind of maybe, he read like 5 reports, but only 3 of them said it and 2 didn't, so he's not
because it doesn't sound like Baker and Stefanski, the head coach, are on the same page in terms of talking about this stuff, and it seems like there's some sly animosity here, and I don't want to read too far into it, but it doesn't seem like it's that great of a relationship right now, because obviously Stefanski knows that Baker's hurt, and that's the reason why he's not playing, but he did say something along the lines of, well, we go by what the medical reports say, and he's healthy enough to be out there, and we expect him to run the offense that we want to run, and the offense just did not help Baker at all.
I don't know. I mean, they have one of the best lines in the league. I mean, I don't understand.
They did not play that well last night.
But they don't care about Baker. Maybe they're in on the conspiracy that John is talking about.
No.
Maybe they're trying to get him hurt, John.
I'm talking about, yeah.
John, speaking of John talking, so along the lines, we have Quinton Spain. He is maybe our best offensive lineman this year. Tell us, what is going on with him?
He's got a couple things going on with him. At the end of the first half against the Chiefs, Joe Burrow took a hit or a sack and basically ran into Quinton Spain's, I think, right leg. He had a sprained ankle on that play. He missed the entire rest of the game against the Chiefs. Jackson Carman, the rookie, filled in for him at left guard. Our own Zim Hude, Cincy Jungle's own Zim Hude, he's been on the show before. He's saying that Spain is going to be fine for the playoffs, but he's probably not going to play. He's not going to play against the Browns, which he's one of like 4 other guys who are not going to play because Quinton Spain has also contracted COVID-19. So protocols say that he can be eligible to play for Sunday, as with Trey Hendrickson, Von Bell, Trey Hopkins, I think the other guys who contracted the virus. I don't know if those guys are going to play either because I don't know if they're going to be needed. Quinton Spain, though, is not going to play, and he has not been his best in recent weeks, so this gives Jackson Carman a chance to get a full game under his belt before he's potentially needed in the postseason if Spain's still dealing with COVID or still has this bad ankle. So it's going to be interesting to see Jackson Carman against the Cleveland Browns defensive line to see if he can get some momentum in case he's needed the rest of the postseason.
You see, Daddy, all these Bengals fans getting COVID, and you thought it didn't even exist. You thought there wasn't a real virus. So it must be real.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
get vaccinated, get boosted. Right. That's my message.
So, John, Myles Garett is always a matchup problem. He had quite a game the last time around. What can they do to offset, to counter his gifts?
Well, we saw against the Chiefs, they still use CJ Uzomah and Samaje Perine in the backfield as extra pass blockers, specifically on third downs and plays where they think a blitz is coming. But with Garett, they have chipped other edge rushers with tight ends, and Uzomah chip release is where you stay in to basically just hit the defensive end right before you run out a route and get downfield. And I think that's what they could do against Garett. That's what they did in the past. That's what other teams have done. And I think Garett didn't necessarily have his best game against the Bengals. The last time that these two teams played, it didn't really matter because the Browns still took it to them. But Garett now, I think he has a lot to play for because he's still in this battle for Defensive Player of the Year. And TJ Watt just had like 4 sacks against the Browns, so he's probably the clear favorite. So he's going to be playing with his butt on fire. I don't know how many other Cleveland Browns players are going to play. I don't even know if Garrett's going to play, but if he does play, he's going to be motivated to get as many sacks as possible. And Jonah Williams is going to have his hands full dealing with him in one-on-one if Jonah Williams plays. If he doesn't, you're probably going to see like Fred Johnson or Isaiah Prince out there. I don't know, man. There's still so much that we don't know about this game because we don't know how hard both teams are going to try. The Browns may end up looking better because they don't have Baker Mayfield out on the field. Tyler Boyd's probably still going to want to play because he wants to get 1,000 receiving yards. We don't know. It's too early in the week to really discuss any of this.
It is, but you mentioned Uzomah, and what I really want to see in this Browns game is more Uzomah. He has been the unspoken sort of shining star of this season. This is a man who was recently, not so long ago, overcoming what was a surgery, if I remember correctly, a torn Achilles, which is the worst kind of of injury that an athlete could have, any sport person could have. So Uzomah has this injury. He always looked good, but he never looked this good until he was playing with Burrow. Burrow is the guy who brings out from all of these players. He makes other people into stars. He's like the fire with which you light other fires. He is our Sagittarius.
He the butts of the whole team.
He lights the butts on fire. As John was saying, because you know what it is. He's a Sagittarius. His birthday, December 10th. It was just not so long ago. Sagittarius, what are they? They're leaders. They're optimists. They're extroverts. And he is coming into this team, and wow, the energy that he's bringing. I want hats off to Uzomah. I really think he could be the hidden X factor in this next game. The guy we haven't heard a lot about, but we can hear more about.
Yeah.
The last time Uzomah played in Cleveland, that's when he had the injury. It was well over a year ago, and he had Burrow's first touchdown pass in that game too. So it could be something to him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, John, I think. Well, let's go to predictions because I want to hear what you guys think is going to happen. So first of all, who's going to start at quarterback?
Burrow.
It's probably going to be Brandon Allen, I would say.
No. What? Wait, we're not going to try for the number 2 seed at all? We have a chance.
Here's the thing, dude. You have guys who are out with COVID. You're facing a Browns team that's basically given up. Do you need to have all your starters out there to try and win this game? I think you can play really competitive against the shell of a Browns team right now with Brandon Allen and some other starters. I think some guys are going to play, but I don't think Burrow's going to play.
There's another reason, a strategic reason why you want Brandon Allen to play, which is that if you need him late in the playoffs, you want him to be less cold.
We have no chance.
That's true.
No, you don't say that. Don't say that. I remember back when the Philadelphia Eagles were like, "Oh, Carson Wentz goes down, we're done with." Carson Wentz went down, they got better.
Nick Foles had an elite season.
Daddy, it doesn't matter because Joe Burrow could reasonably get COVID, and it's not about some freak injury where it's like if he's injured, we're done. Like any team has to worry about this.
And he might be out one playoff game. And if Brandon Allen can carry us through one playoff game, which is quite in the realm of possibility, especially if he's not playing cold.
You just said Joe Burrow could get COVID, which made me go back to my previous belief that COVID is not real. Because if COVID can take away Joe Burrow from me, I know.
He lives in fantasy.
No, I have waited way too long for this Joe Burrow person to come into my life and really turn everything.
COVID, he'll be back for one game.
It doesn't matter.
This is Omicron.
If COVID takes away a Bengals playoff victory or Super Bowl,
it won't. If you get
now you're projecting, and I wasn't going that far. You know,
John,
warm up, Brandon.
You are scaring me. Look, I was talking about. I want to make predictions now.
Okay.
And I was talking about the Browns. Okay. Who is their quarterback going to be, John?
Case Keenum.
Okay, so Case Keenum
he's not bad.
Won a playoff game.
Yeah, solid
starter. Probably better than Baker Mayfield.
No.
About the same.
How much better is that at this point? How much better is that?
Classic daddy-o hyperbole.
They're about the same.
Give Baker some credit. Baker had a great game against us, by the way.
He was riding the wave of the team was the line, and Joe Burrow had the disastrous start. Everything was like kind of going downhill from there. But so they have look, we don't know who's going to start for the Bengals, I guess, but if it's Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum, and they're going to still play Chubb, and we don't really have an answer for him.
Are they still going to play Chubb? We don't know.
Really?
How does the Browns have nothing to play for? But
you can't just rest your starters for no reason.
No, Chubb's not going to want that. Chubb's going to want to go out on a strong.
So how do we make predictions for this game, John? You were saying we don't know.
I'll tell you what happens. The Bengals, you have to realize, the Bengals now, it is about Burrow and it's not about Burrow. This is a team that's strong in a lot of other dimensions. I like John's point. If they play Brandon Allen more, they might not start Brandon Allen, but they might bring him in second quarter, third quarter. They might let them play. But I think what you're going to see here is this is a Bengals that's really now found its place in the NFL. I think they're going to be showing you that they're solid. They are going to win this game for sure. I think this will be the comeback game against the Browns.
Yeah.
I think I already mentioned who I think the player of the game is going to be. I think it's going to be Uzomah. I think this is Uzomah's time to shine. And I think what you're going to see is a close game. I'm going 36-32 Bengals.
Wow. Yeah. How are the Browns going to get 32 points?
36-32 might be a scoregami. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm calling.
Yeah. He's saying, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, who won us the game last time? That's right, Evan McPherson.
He called it. That was only 50 yards short.
But still, I mean...
John, prediction.
Remember when Bullock used to miss those?
Yeah, that's true. John.
Here's how you predict this game. I'm going to say the Chiefs beat the Broncos on Saturday night. And if that happens, the 1 seed is out of the equation. It's out of the equation for the Bengals. At that point...
Hold on, John. When does the other team? When does the Houston and the
That's
Tennessee
at the same time. They can't...
And the Bengals?
It's at the same time.
As the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, regardless of that, I don't know if you can go into this game having 2 game plans, one being if one team wins like 12 hours before the kickoff, and if one team loses, then you got to go the other way. At this point, I don't think the Bengals are necessarily going to be going all out for that 1 seed just because of the guys who are going to be out. Just look at Joe Burrow in general. In 16 games now, he's taken 51 sacks. He has a bum knee. That's not even his surgically repaired knee. Yeah, it was a knee that he couldn't even finish the game against the Chiefs because it's been sore. Do you really want him taking more hits against the Browns defensive line that's usually got?
No, but I don't think they're just going to not go for it. If the Chiefs lose, I think Joe Burrow is
But here's the thing. I think it's the best of both worlds because you're going to have guys who are not playing significant snaps in this game, but it's still against the Browns. It's still against the team that embarrassed them just 2 months ago. There's still bad blood in this type of matchup. They haven't beaten the Browns since like 2019. Like, they want to make a statement. There's no reason, even if they don't play some of these starters, why they shouldn't beat that embarrassment excuse of a Browns team. There may be like 500 people at the game in Cleveland because they don't care about that team anymore. They're fed up with everything. The Bengals can still go into this game, play hard with some of their backups, and come out on top. I think it's the best because you're not going into the postseason flat, which is what. John. Yeah, because you're talking over me, and I'm trying to get my point out.
Over him. You're talking over John.
I'm talking
over John.
We're talking together, John.
John.
Here's what.
No, John. All right, so
John, hold on. No, what I want to say, John, is you're talking about the COVID thing as if these players are going to be out, but there's going to be 5 days before the game, right? We have time for them to get off the list, like we did with last week. What was it?
They have time if they need to play. Do they need to play?
Do they need to play? The other guys on the team.
I've never heard of a team with a shot at the first round bye not going for it. I've never.
They may not have a shot.
They might not have a shot if the Kansas City.
I know. I'm saying if they do.
Yeah, if they do, but that's far fetched. Who can't beat the Broncos? Everybody can beat the Broncos, especially Kansas City. I mean, we barely beat the Broncos. Have you forgotten how good this team is? Just because we beat them doesn't mean they're not elite. This is an elite team. By the way, I like what John was saying about something to prove. If you're out there in the fandom universe of the NFL. Wow, is there a lot of hate for the Cincinnati Bengals? I'm seeing Ravens fans. I'm seeing Kansas City Chiefs fans. I'm seeing Chargers fans. Everybody is hating on the Bengals. It's like, this is our year. And what, you came to my party to ruin my party?
It's like when
this is my party. I've been waiting for this party now for over 30 years. You want to ruin my party? Yeah. You can't ruin my party. Yeah. I can't believe all the hate that the Bengals are getting.
I believe it because Joe Burrow, he goes in there, and he smokes the best team in the league, and then he smokes some cigars, and he starts waving around his fingers, like he owns the place.
Yeah, he's got a lot of swagger.
Yeah, swagger, and he smoked the Ravens,
smoking them,
and then afterwards, like 2 days later, like, when you look at the film, was there anything you noticed that stood out? Like, why? He was like, no, we all know what happened out there. Like, I just killed them, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, and by the way, that was after the coach mentioned the golden jacket.
Yeah,
the Joe Burrow golden jacket.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like this happens every once in a while, right? Where someone comes in and he doesn't play by the rules,
right?
And he's very charismatic.
Oh no.
And he just has this confidence.
He
doesn't have to necessarily research or prepare. Like you were saying, I didn't look at the tape. But he's just he knows.
No.
Yeah, he knows his audience.
No, Joe Burrow
and no matter what he does, they will always support him. His supporters will follow him
even
anywhere.
If he goes out into New York and he shoots someone, right?
No,
he shoots someone in the chest. Even if he shoots someone, his supporters will say, this is not, Okay. We love Joe Burrow because he's a truly talented human being with a good heart.
He's not a Who Dey bet. He made Who Dey great.
By the way, what Joe Burrow stands for is the opposite of what Donald Trump stands for. Joe Burrow.
I don't know why you're making my politics.
You look at his clothing. It's always about social justice. It's always about racial equality.
Okay, John, can you give us your prediction, please?
I already predicted it. I think the Bengals are going to win despite not having some guys out there because the Browns are terrible, and the Bengals are going to really try even with their backups because they still hate the Browns. I think they win.
Okay, and what is your scoregami? Or as we say in English, your score?
Scoregami is going to be 18-11, I think. I don't think that's ever been done before, but that sounds right. And the player of the game is going to be Tyler Boyd.
Oh,
because they're going to feed him 30 targets for him to get over 1,000 yards.
Really?
That's a good call.
Is that a serious?
Can I change my call?
He's not going to get 30 targets. Like 15.
32.
How does a receiver get 32 targets, John?
You can do it.
I mean, Allen can throw the ball 40 times. That's not even all 40 of his targets.
You're not taking our show seriously, John.
All right. So what's your prediction?
So
I'm talking to a wall.
Well,
it's a pretty wall too, but I can't see
you
what
would rather talk to a wall than talk to these inflated balloon faces that you have right now.
You guys are being very disrespectful to walls. Walls protect us from many of the society's evils, from many people who have no business coming into your home.
Bad hombres.
I don't want to talk about it. John, my prediction. You asked for my prediction. I think I'm very, very upset by everything that you said about Joe Burrow getting COVID, missing the playoffs, and the team not trying and just giving up because their players are out.
A lot of things that I said, yeah.
But I will say this. I think it's going to be tough. I think the Browns are angry. I think Baker's going to sit. That's going to revitalize the team the way OBJ left. That revitalized the team because these players are good and they're sick of losing. And they know now, they thought OBJ was the problem. Now they know it's Baker. They want to prove they deserve to be together, and they like Stefanski. They want to stick together. So what do? You win with Keenan Allen, or whatever his name is. Casey Kasem. Whatever the quarterback's name is, you win with that guy, with the Keenan Thompson. You win with that guy, and you say, hey, all we need now is a real quarterback. John said we can get Russell Wilson. Straight for me, whatever. So,
by the way, if the Browns get Russell Wilson, our lives are going to be miserable.
Yeah. Well, Russell Wilson's he's not the same Russell Wilson.
If Steelers get Aaron Rodgers, not going to be as fun of a season.
Not going to be fun. But, I think that the Browns actually, with that running game, that offensive line, I think they're going to flatten the Bengals. They are going to steamroll them, John. They're going to steamroll them.
Oh, here we go.
And, I do. No, I do.
Here we
John,
go.
I do. That's what I think.
Here we go. Tell us, what's the score going to be then?
The score, okay. The score is going to be Browns 14, Bengals 38. That is going to be the score.
So what's the steamroll? How do you say steamroll?
Well, before you go to a very important gathering, a very fancy place, you iron your clothes.
Okay,
before the Bengals enter the playoffs, the Browns are going to make them look presentable. They are going to be the final touch.
Right. Who's the player of the game?
Player of the game is going to be Joe Mixon.
Yes.
Joe Mixon hasn't had a big game recently.
Oh, yes.
And, not last week. And Joe Mixon plays well against the Browns, like all good Bengals running backs. Yeah, he's going to have
more Mixon.
Yeah, more Mixon. And that is that. And finally, of course,
promotion.
Thank you, Courtney. Yes, Courtney is always on top of promotion.
Yeah.
And it's not just because she gets a cut. That is not the only reason. It's also because Bringstat TV.
I don't think, by the way, viewer, I don't think Courtney gets a cut, but I think Daddy wants you to think that Courtney gets a cut.
Right.
So that he feels less guilty for all the begging that he does.
Yes. Wow, that was very touching. And thank you. Thank you, Hoji. Hoji also gets a cut. And John gets a cut. It is not all just.
That's what they say. That's not what it is, though. But yeah, let's go and keep saying that.
Right. John, you and all your friends, okay, you can go to patreon.com/DHSports. You can go become a member. You can. This is a free country. It was a free country until about 2 years ago. So you can do those things. You can also, Courtney, can we see the graphic? You can go to Bengals Picks. Every time you go to Bengals Picks, $3 will go to third worlders in need.
No, that's us, by the way. We're the third worlders.
Right.
He means us.
Third worlders who have no Electro Voice RE27ND microphones.
Yeah, I did not get
He doesn't, but he's very close. We're going to get it soon.
Yeah.
But still go to Bengals Picks because there's other things you can get for them. You go to Bengals Picks.
It's so easy to sign up. I actually just signed up. You just put your name in, you put in your email address. They send you a verification email. Boom, you go. We get $3, and you get to play this fun game where you make.
It's free, and you get all these prizes.
Yeah.
I played.
You got the electric shoes.
Oh, that was something else. I'm going to show you the electric shoes later. John, did you sign up for Bengals Picks?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay, I was going to take $3 out of your pay, but John signed up, and Hoji signed up. I signed up, and John's mom, and obviously John's the mafia because John obviously is backed by the mafia. He's right. You were telling me about that, John. The whole mafia. I got the whole tribe to sign up. Okay, that is all we have for this show. For John, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah,
Sheeran. Yeah, Vanilla Ice. And
to the guy to the front, no fake, and cooking them steaks is like a pound of vegan bacon.
Yeah, and for like Doji Lecter Kismoji. Don't forget to follow John on Twitter and check out his articles on cincyjungle.com and check him out on all the other podcasts he's on. He's the host of what? The Locked On podcast, the Before the Stripes and Beyond the Stripes, and all of those different podcasts. The Outside the Black and the Inside of the whatever.
Black and white.
We'll see you next time. So long as 50 pies.